Hey yo, what is groovy? What is good? It's your boy Papa Capes and we are back with yet another Raid Shadow Legends video. Thank you so much Raid for sponsoring this video and for hooking us up with a download link that you can find in the description below. Starting out with that link directly supports me, directly supports the channel, and it directly supports what we're trying to build here as a community. So if you or anybody that you know of might want to start Raid for the first time, or maybe just start a new journey or a different journey within Raid, feel free to use that download link. As you launch the game, you'll be greeted by Tholen, Foulbeard, and then progressing just a little bit will give you Ugo, and then also Tagore and Mausoleum Mage. And right now is an awesome time to start as well, because you can choose between Pelops the Victor by using code RAID7 or Padraig using code WRATH. So I know that I usually start my videos like, I've been thinking about this a lot recently. I'm gonna do it again. There's something that I've been thinking about a lot recently, and that is, I don't think that RNG is the most dangerous thing in Raid. Hear me out. I think it's 4 things, and that's what I'm going to touch on in today's video. Those 4 things being comparison, impatience, burnout, and FOMO. What made me think about this is that my account's recently been progressing really well. I mean, we've gotten Arbiter to 300 speed, which again is the first champion we've got to 300 speed. And we've also recently finished a fusion within Masahiro, a fragment fusion. So that to me are 2 big steps and 2 things that blatantly show evidence of progress. So having Arbiter at 300 speed directly impacts my classic arena, it directly impacts my live arena, and it also slightly impacts my tag team arena, right? So that's why it is evident that my account is still progressing. Regardless of how slow, regardless of how fast, this is what's important about today's video, is that we're just going to speak from our experience as a mid-game player, low spend player, and I'm pretty sure some of you might be feeling the same way. We've got progress in terms of champion builds, champion speeds, and that directly links to progress in other areas of the game like arena. But then we've also continued to progress through faction wars. We currently find ourselves sub 50 away from getting Lydia. There's a couple of faction crypts we still need to finish: Skinwalkers, Knights Revenant, Undead, Demon Spawn, Ogren Tribe, and the rest on the right side are all done except for Shadowkin, which I think that Masahiro will come in clutch and help us to finish as well. But what I want to highlight is that there's still moments where I look at my account and I feel like I'm behind. And this brings us to our first point, comparison. I think comparison absolutely destroys enjoyment in Raid. Many of us do it. Many of us consume content on YouTube, and oftentimes the creators are super late game with crazy accounts, crazy champions, insane gear, and you tend to see their Hydra damage, their Chimera damage, their Demon Lord damage. The stats that they're able to achieve on their accounts is crazy. Not only to mention, or let's not forget the mythical champions that they've got. Let's not forget the +4s that they've got, whilst their faction guardians are all full. But these are the things that I see when I'm consuming content that just makes my account feel small. I see crazy gear. I see mad accounts that are almost perfect. And then you get me celebrating reaching 300 speed for the first time on Arbiter, which is still progress for my account though, right? It's a huge milestone for my account. And this is no hate to any of those creators. This is no hate to any Raid player who is lucky enough to be in the end game with those crazy accounts. This is just to emphasize the fact that comparison is the thief of joy. And I find myself comparing my account to even those of my peers, to people who have played and started playing a similar time to me. Maybe it's just that competitive instinct again coming out, I don't know. But comparison destroys enjoyment in Raid. The second point that I'd like to talk about is FOMO. And Raid is really good at triggering that FOMO. We can just list a bunch of events that shows you how good Raid is at triggering this FOMO. Right here, we've got a support soul summon pool in the Altar of Souls. Just now we had a summon pool in the portal as well. So Raid is constantly filled with different events that trigger that FOMO, whether it's a fusion, whether it's a deck of fate, whether it's a coalition event, whether it's Titan events, whether it's soul events, whether it's guaranteed champ events. There's always something happening in Raid that makes you feel like you're missing out on something. And what I've realized that as a mid-game player, it is physically impossible for me to do all of these events. And I mean, recently we've got the perfect example of that, right? I made 2 videos talking about how I'm going to prepare for my first fusion, and I'm going to skip the Masahiro fusion. Then bang, I caved. And here we are, having just done the Masahiro fusion. So I'm guilty of this as well. I'm no different to any of you out there watching this video thinking that I'm talking to you or I'm speaking at you. Do you know what I mean? I'm just speaking about my experience, and I'm there. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, feeling overwhelmed, feeling confused, feeling like the game's pulling me in so many different directions. But at the end of the day, once we get that under control, it adds to the joy, it adds to the simulation, and it's so fulfilling. I mean, let me not even talk about my shards. As you can see, my shards are nowhere. The only shard I have is a sacred shard. So I have a big issue with shards. I've become a lot better with regards to this, but I've got a crazy issue in terms of shards. Right now it's during CBC, so I invested some books into my champions. But as you can see, we've only left with 1 legendary book, and we've got 4 mythical books that I'm going to be keeping for Embreeze, because he's going to be the first mythical that I pulled. I realized that I hadn't booked Wither, and luckily we got the A3 and the A2 booked. Then I also realized that we hadn't fully booked Padraig's A1 and A3, so we booked him as well. But this is not too bad because it's during CBC. Although not personal reward CBC, we're still using it to the best of its ability, but I didn't have to. I genuinely don't think those books are going to make like a crazy difference, or maybe that's just me being ignorant. Again, let me know down in the comments below what you guys feel. I know that booking a champion adds a night and day difference, right? But if you've 80% booked a champion, will 1 or 2 more books make a difference? I know it does on paper, but can you physically see them making a difference because of those additional resources? Anyway, I digress. I mean, again, I can only go back to this recent fusion that I did with Masahiro. There were days where I was just stressing about logging into the game. I needed to check a calendar. I needed to launch Plarium and check, okay, is this event live? Is that event live? And then I'm like, yo, I need to get into the game. I need to ensure that I succeed at this fusion. But it shouldn't be a stressful experience playing a game that you enjoy. The third thing that directly ties into that I want to speak about is burnout. And I don't think burnout happens swiftly. I don't think it's just something that clicks and you're like, okay, I'm done. I think burnout is something that builds over time, slowly but surely building over time. You find yourself still logging into the game, but potentially logging in and you're less excited to do your dailies or to follow the ritual that you've been doing for months, sometimes even years. You just find that slightly more tedious. Then comes being slightly overwhelmed by the goals that you have set. They start to feel like unrealistic almost. Are they still achievable? Am I going to successfully achieve these goals, or was I just not smart with how I set these goals? But you tend to lose trust within yourself as this burnout tends to creep in. Another thing for me personally, I think that leads to feeling burnt out the most is chasing efficiency. Chasing efficiency constantly sometimes blinds you to the fun that you're missing out on, because everything's a min-max. Everything's trying to get the most results out of something as opposed to getting the most fun out of the game. I'm guilty of this as well, not only in Raid, in many of the games that I play. I min-max. Efficiency is important just to do things as smart as possible, as quickly as possible. But why aren't we putting in that same effort to have the most fun that we can have? Question mark? I'm guilty as well. Sometimes we find ourselves treating the game as a job. Sometimes we rearrange events IRL to accommodate what we're doing in Raid. And to me, that idea is crazy. Like, the game shouldn't be treated like a job. Gaming should be fun at its core always. Period. Non-negotiable. It ends there. And these are things that we do to ourselves. These are things that are well within our control, but sometimes we might not even know that this is what's happening. And when I say we, I say me. I can only speak about my experiences, I can only speak about my behavior, and I can only share my opinions from experiences with you all. So I'm not accusing anybody. I'm not saying you do what I do. I'm just sharing. And to close this section off, as a mid-game player who isn't out here spending crazy, I think one of the biggest mistakes we make constantly feeling like we're falling behind. What are we falling behind on? Whichever account it is that you find yourself comparing your account to. And I mean, maybe that's why I haven't finished my faction wars yet. Maybe my account is currently fully capable of finishing Demon Spawn, Undead Horde, Shadowkin. Maybe it's not. But there is a reality where maybe I just spent so much time hyper-focusing faction wars that I just now think about it and I'm like, oh, I need to do 5 battles in tag team arena first. Am I in silver? Can I do quick battles? Okay, yes. Let me do those 5 battles to get the additional 6 keys. And then let me go and take the gear off my main champs and put them onto these champs. And then I'm probably going to forget it again before I go into clan boss. So then I'm going to waste a key. Like, you see where I'm going with that? That's quite extreme. But these things happen. And then there's like random builds that I have on champions. Champions that like I've never built Lemonisi. Properly built her, cared for her, loved her, made her feel secure in my account. I was just kidding. But I've never put in tons and tons of effort into building her. Cool, she's almost at 92k power. We all know that power rating doesn't really tell you much. But there's so many builds on my account that are just weird. That I mean, I put gear on Vogoth. I don't know. Looking at him now, he's not poorly built, but I could probably build him better. As an example right here. I've got gear on Fane in lifesteal and speed. Doesn't sound bad on paper. But I mean, is it really good? And Fane can do some damage, yo. But these unfinished builds are just, I feel, a result of burnout. We spend so much time, sorry, let me not say we. I spend so much time chasing perfection within Raid because of comparing my account to those accounts of other people who have insane accounts. And I spent months fine-tuning my builds. Obviously, back then, I didn't even have the knowledge to do it properly. So technically, it's time wasted now looking back, but back then it was like I built them to the best of my ability at that moment. And for months I did that, and that led to me burning out, and now there's tons of champs I neglect. And that's the sad truth. But when I finally take a step back, take a deep breath, and I actually look at my account, I realize, and I'm reminded, that I've actually progressed a lot, and more so recently, but overall the progression is evident. So I think the important thing that I've realized is that Raid becomes way more enjoyable when you stop comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. And that's something that I've done for a very, very long time, especially as a newer player. I think the first week of June, we would hit a 1 year as a Raid player. So I'm literally out here comparing wrong chapters. And the crazy thing is, like, Raid never ends. This game never ends. There will always be better gear, faster champs, more damage, another event, another fusion, another titan, another soul to chase, another 6-star soul. There'll always be more. And this does like a full circle, right? And I think that the healthiest thing that I've done recently regarding all of this, I've started appreciating my account for what it is and for where it's at, right here, right now, instead of constantly stressing about what it isn't yet. So I ask you, let me know down in the comments below, right after you like and subscribe to the channel so that we can follow the journey. What do you think burns players out the most in Raid? What are your thoughts on this topic, if you have any? Please feel free to share that. I say this in every video. Having a conversation with you guys and engaging with you all is literally my favorite part of doing all of this. And if you disagree with me, which is perfectly fine, what in your opinion is the most dangerous thing in Raid? So, once again, thank you so much to Raid for sponsoring this video and for hooking us up with our own download link. Remember, using that download link directly supports me, directly supports the channel, and you can find that link in the description down below. It's been a full circle. Let me know your thoughts on this. And again, that's just how I feel. No hate to anybody, only love. Have a fantastic week further. Happiness is a choice. Kindness is free. Leave your mark, yo. Peace out.